And so
17,000 calories a day?
deep fried, covered in gravy, everything you can think of. Yes.
That sounds delicious.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Drop a comment. Any comment will do. Your favorite emoji, doesn't matter. If you guys are watching on Monday morning during the premiere, sound off in the live chat. I sometimes hop in there while I'm editing videos and stuff like that. So say hi. You know, that all helps us out in the algorithm. And then if you are listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out more than you know. And periodically, I read those on upcoming episodes. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. You'll get a good laugh out of some of the stuff I post. Get on the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. You can join for as little as $10. Support this show. You get added to the beer credits at the end of Monday's episodes. And then if you want some kind of coaching, tiers 2 or tiers 3 are available. And it's probably the most affordable coaching program around because I am not charging enough. In fact, I'm going to have to raise prices here pretty soon. But I just raised prices at the beginning of the year, so I don't want to do that to people right now. But you should get in while the prices are still affordable. You're basically grandfathered in because Patreon, it's a subscription-based program, right? And if you're in a certain level, they won't let me delete that level. You know what I mean? So there's guys that joined last year when the beer club was only $5 and they're still in there and they're still only paying $5. So get in while the getting is good, guys, before I start raising prices. Especially if you've been thinking about getting some kind of coaching, right? Either it's date coaching or life coaching, whatever. You know, I'm a certified master life coach now. Send a super chat. Maybe don't send a super chat during today's episode because it's not live, but you can send super stickers. That supports the show. Send these during the live streams on Wednesdays and Fridays, though. That definitely supports the show. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. I will send you some free stickers. If you like those designs, they're also available as merch as well. You can get hats and t-shirts and coffee mugs and stuff like that. I don't recommend wearing like red-pilled stuff around the whammon so much. But, you know, if you're out with the boys, why not? Why not, right? And then finally, check out my Practical Law of Attraction course, loa.comeonmanpod.com. It's a mindset course. There's no woo-woo chakras and magic thinking and crystals and whatever. It's all psychology based. There's basically 3 explanations for the law of attraction. I break it down into simple psychological explanations. And when you get your mind right, everything else in your life falls into place. I'll play a commercial for that in just a minute. But before I do, let's talk about my guest today. My guest is he's probably one of what I consider my biggest success stories. He's been following me on TikTok since the very beginning. Dude's completely changed his life around, right? He used to be very heavy set. He started watching my TikToks and he's lost in just an astronomical amount of weight. Just in getting his mind right, reading the books that I recommend. His dating life is just outstanding, right? He's completely changed his life around. And he attributes some of that, at least, to the videos that I put out. So I wanted to get him on the podcast. He's actually turned into a really good friend of mine. He goes by Black Bear on TikTok and Instagram. He's a funny dude. You know, a lot of his videos are just humor-based, you know, reaction videos and stuff like that. But he built up a pretty big following himself on TikTok. And I was like, you know what, dude, I got to get you on the show, man. I got to get you on the show. So I finally got Black Bear on, and I will bring you that conversation right after these words. Are you struggling to find a good quality woman? They are very rare indeed these days. If you spend any time at all watching content in the men's podcast space, or you spend time on dating apps or going out to clubs, you're seeing low quality, promiscuous women. You're finding women with daddy issues and personality disorders, or a myriad of other red flags, and you are frustrated. I get it, brother, but what if I were to tell you that the reason why you're only seeing these types of women is because of your mindset, because of your paradigm? We get what we focus on in life, and you have trained your mind to focus on the type of women that you don't want. So those are the types of women that keep showing up for you again and again. Let's change that mindset today. If you're a guy looking to attract high-quality, submissive women into your life, then I've got the perfect solution for you. And let me tell you, brother, it's all about mindset. That's right, you've got to reprogram your thinking to focus on the type of women you do want. That's where my Practical Law of Attraction course comes in. It's packed with proven psychology-based techniques that will help you manifest your dream woman. Trust me, you won't find this stuff anywhere else. Explained in such a simple, easy-to-use way. And let me tell you, when you start using these methods, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start changing for you. Picture this, you're out on the town, feeling confident and magnetic. All the women are drawn to you like moths to a flame. And best of all, you're attracting the type of women that are submissive and high quality. It's not that they weren't there before, it's that you weren't aware of them before. My course will teach you how to be more hyper aware of the kind of women that you actually want. It will teach you to believe that you're the most attractive man around. And when you believe it, you'll carry yourself that way. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for my course today. Visit loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. Start living the life you've always dreamed of. Don't miss out on this opportunity to up your game and find the woman of your dreams. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So what are you waiting for? Act now. All right, joining me this week is a pretty funny guy who I've been friends with for a while now through TikTok. He largely makes a lot of funny reaction videos, but also occasionally puts out an inspirational message or two. The reason I asked him to come on the podcast is because of his incredible weight loss journey, though. His name is Gene Bread, better known as Black Bear 1984. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother? How are you? It's good to be on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's a long time coming. We've been following each other for a long time. I think your main TikTok account completely blew past, I think, my original account. Then my original account got banned, and my second account never even caught up to where I was with the original account. And now I have a third account. Seems to be doing pretty well. I finally crossed the 4,000 user threshold, which is nice. But
nice.
But you have almost 90,000 followers on your main account, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sitting at about 83,000 right now on my main account. And then I've also gotten a decent following on Facebook, of all things. Long story short, I've got 2 accounts there. And between those equal about 30,000 followers as well.
Wow. Okay. You get around.
When I learned how to basically take my video library and pull it and put it wherever I want, sky's the limit at that point. I was like, I can go wherever I want. If TikTok goes down or my main account goes down at this point, I couldn't care less. I will just build elsewhere with it.
Yeah. I'm trying to, I've obviously diversified on every other platform out there, but I'm also trying to build up an email list so that, if I ever get banned again, I can email people. With this new account, I was able to, email all the people on my email list. Say, hey guys, it happened. I'm shadow banned now. No one sees anything from my second account anymore. It's ridiculous.
One thing I always notice is they're always having us try to promote boosting videos, and I have never paid for a single one of those. But one thing I've always thought, if they did do this as an option, I would totally jump on board. If they had a subscription service, like say $20 a month, where you could send one video to every single one of your followers in one unison. So say there's a video you made that you worked hard on, and you're like, I want this to get out there. That be your one video to send out to all your followers via their inbox. And keep it, because then I would at least have one video a month that I could guarantee could hit 80,000 views to all my viewership, and at least get that one out there. Because then I would subscribe to that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, even Twitter doesn't have that. Like I have Twitter Blue. I pay for Twitter Blue. Doesn't seem to help with reach or anything like that. I applied for the new Instagram blue check mark program, and I'm still waiting on that. That one at least is supposed to give me someone I can talk to when I have a support issue.
I'm trying to do the same on Meta with Facebook as well.
Yeah. Yeah, which is that would be helpful. Just being able to talk to like a live person that could actually help. That would be a game changer.
Oh my God.
On these godforsaken platforms.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
so let's get into the meat of this here, man. You lost 75 pounds in 2022. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Are you still losing weight?
No. I got down to, at my lightest, I got down to 197. I was 280 pounds around New Year's Eve of 2021. And I
So you
was
went from 280 to what?
down to, at my lightest, 197. I don't really mention it because I actually got really sick and I lost about 10 pounds from it. But at my lightest, healthy, I was 202. And
Okay.
I'm sitting right now at 218. I've gotten into, what I basically did was I focused on my diet first and got all the body fat under my gut eliminated, the visceral body fat. That's the
Mhm.
stuff that has where you get your diabetes, your blood pressure, your all your health issues from obesity. That's your visceral body fat under your gut. And so I changed my diet to where I basically lost muscle. I lost muscle mass too, but I basically did that first. And then I started doing full body weight exercises. I had a buddy of mine. I was never in the army, but he served, he did PT in the army. And he told me when he was working with me on the truck, he said, you'd be amazed how many people will brag about going to the gym and benching 225, but they can't do 25 push-ups if their life depended on it. So what he
Yeah.
told me was, he said, go in there. He said, first thing you do, he said, spend 90 days, body weight, push-ups, dips. I call them prison dips, where you're on the edge of your bed and you're dipping down for reps.
Mhm.
I'll do all the delt raises with no weight whatsoever, just my own arms, my own nothing else, and I do reps until they burn, until I can't anymore. Like Bruce Lee's old rule, or Muhammad Ali's old rule, where
So you're not holding anything. You're just doing this
just doing
until
that, full
your
range of
shoulders are
motion.
sore. Okay.
Full range of motion. And because some people, when they'll do delt raises, for example, they'll only go up to about like right here, 90 degrees. Well, I have no weight, so I'll do slow and controlled, and I'll go all the way up to my head and have my hands
Oh,
touch and bring them
so
all the way
like
back
so
down.
sideways like this,
Yeah,
lateral
yeah.
raises. Okay.
And then I'll switch it right over to another position where I'm doing my rear delts or my front ones. And I'll go until exhaustion. I'll do those early in the morning instead of going to the gym. And it takes about 45 minutes to get through everything. But it made me get really, really, really chiseled like never before. I used to be a competitive power lifter, and I was about 350 pounds of muscle, but I looked like one of those, strong. I was, basically strong fat, I called it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a guy I follow on YouTube. I think he's also on TikTok too, but I think his main channel's on YouTube. But he goes by Brawley Gains or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of his stuff is body weight workouts. Push variations of push-ups, pull-ups. He does muscle ups and all that kind of cool stuff like that. Guy's totally jacked, right? And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that he says, he's like, dude, if you can't do 25 push-ups, you have no business in the gym doing bench presses and shit. Like you need to do the body weight first. And there's I talk about it on the podcast a lot, because I was in the military, and largely like in boot camp, we would do all calisthenics, right? It was always push-ups, sit-ups, and running. And at the Marines, they do pull-ups and stuff like that. So if you do those 4 exercises, like you'll knock out your whole body. You actually will look pretty jacked if you're pretty if your diet's good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah, actually I have a question about this on here too. But we'll get to that. So what's your goal weight? Are you at your goal weight then?
I'm at my goal weight. I'm focused right now on just getting actually if I had to give actual number anymore, I really don't, because I'm just trying to get maybe it's about 235 with bulking back up.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, because I was like 218 on me, I would look fat as fuck, dude.
if you put 20 more pounds of muscle on me, and I will be nose to nose with Jason Momoa straight up. Because my body fat percentage is at, despite my the loose skin, which I call obesity scars, because it's designed to conquer your body. I stepped on this. I did one of the tests that told your body fat percentage, and it was 5.4% body fat. And then visceral was 0.4, which is less than a pound of under the gut body fat, which basically means that the stuff that caused your diabetes and stuff like that, it was gone. which is how you can conquer diabetes. So type 2 is what I had. So still got the scars on my ankles. I'll always have those, but at the same time, it's still a sign that, you can overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't taken medicine in 2 years. So
are you planning on getting any of that like loose skin removed or anything like that?
What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to, mainly it's because, it takes money, but obviously right now I'm trying to basically take care of my skin as much as possible with like, your natural skins, oils, creams, stuff like that, trying to shrink it down as much as possible. And then after a while, when I have the money, essentially, I'll go have it removed. And so.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious about that because some people they're like, I don't want to spend the money on it, and I don't mind, and other people are like, yeah, I'm gonna invest in that, which is there's no right or wrong way. I'm not saying anybody should do anything specific. It's whatever's right for you, but I was just curious about that.
Yeah, the way I see it is I have a firm rule about the way I do things, which is at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and if you don't like what you see, change it. And because at the end of the day, I mean, this person can like this, me for this. A lot of times you lose weight, everybody's like, I liked you when you're fluffy. And, it's like no one else's opinion matters except the one who looks in the mirror at you, and that's yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're not happy with the way you look, like do something about it. Mm-hmm. Don't stay fat because someone says they like you fat. That makes no sense.
While I'm on good terms with her, I will make this joke at least. I used to make the rib about, you guys did make the joke, happy wife, happy life. The thing I used to say all the time when I was married, and I laugh a little bit when I hear it, I think to myself, I used to say all the time, hey, my wife thinks it's sexy. That's all that matters to me. I hated that damn look. Every second of it. And not a single ounce of it do I still have except for what I was born with, my skin tone. And because, I had short, spiky hair, little goat chin, hair about 80 pounds heavier, and the polo shirts looked like domesticated, I called it. And I could not stand that look. And once I started actually doing it for myself, that was when that's when I finally figured out who I was. I regret nothing.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So you were married, and was your ex-wife like, was she a bigger gal or?
Plus size. She wasn't anything morbid, but she was what I always call thick and juicy. There's some girl, there's those girls that are too big where you're like, there's something wrong. But then there's ones that have those curves that are spot on. To her credit, her curves were spot on.
Okay. All right. So I think you said this already, but how heavy were you at your heaviest?
397 pounds.
397. I've heard this story, I think, right? Like, go ahead and tell it.
So it was it was in 2010, and I ended up stepping on the scale at my job, and I saw 397, and the thought popped in my head about the movie The Nutty Professor. Sherman Klump was 400 pounds, and immediately I thought in my head, oh my God, I am 3 pounds away from Sherman Klump. And then I thought, oh, I am 4 pounds away from being heavier than Sherman Klump. 401 scared me more than 400 because that meant I was heavier than a fat guy they made a movie about who made a serum to shrink down. I was like, and so at first I contemplated getting stomach surgery, but I'm an overanalyzer. And when I broke it down, it was just portion control. That's all it was. And so I went, if I could train this, I don't need the surgery. That was the best decision I could have made because I started training my brain on everything, which I'm still doing to this day. And I started doing that 10 years ago. It was a long journey. I mean, I analyzed my consumption of what I ate. I had those, those big oval dinner plates. I ate 3 of those, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. 17,000 calories every single day. No wonder I was almost 400 pounds. I wasn't lifting weights either. I was just a big fat married guy.
17,000 calories a day?
Deep fried, covered in gravy, everything you can think of. Yes.
That sounds delicious.
It was amazing. At my prime, I was legitimately going for the Big Texan in Amarillo. That 72-ounce steak. I had the biggest one I ever conquered was 32 ounces. I was 29. But I decided to keep it simple, and I went from 3 plates to 1 just to start. I went and
Okay.
got a Planet Fitness membership, prepaid it so I could never say I can't afford the membership. I prepaid for a year, so I took away the excuse. And my ex-wife was actually an opponent of it. She was like, I like my men big. I said, I'm not big. I'm fat.
Yeah.
400 pounds, skin tight 4XL is not healthy. And of course, he was like, well, you can't find time for that. I said, I will make time. This is a different mindset I had. And so I had my work schedule to where I was able to put 2 hours a day, 2 times a week, cut my portions back from 3 big plates down to 1, still breakfast, lunch, dinner. Didn't change anything about my diet. 75 pounds gone in 6 months. And I got to competitive powerlifting, loved it. There's a video of me on YouTube doing 500-pound deadlift and then 425 for reps. And I was about 340, 350. I mean, big old face and 2XL hoodie I filled out. I mean, I was a big, swole, strong man, getting there at least. Because there's some people who's like 500 pounds ain't shit. But it's still, insane accomplishment. But once I had a back injury that took me out for about 7 years, and I plateaued that whole time. I was about 300 pounds for the whole time. My marriage crapped out just before the pandemic completely. It had been on the tanks for years, not to go into that whole ordeal, but it did where I wasn't sleeping. I had anxiety. I started getting into cannabis so I could have an appetite at least because I wasn't eating. A divorce will break. A divorce is like taking a human being and ripping them in half down the middle. That's the way, because you go through every single emotion your whole life. And so 15 years, I've been in therapy for 3 ever since, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I mean, in all of that, I honestly forgot where I was going with that. I ramble sometimes, but
So we were talking about your heaviest, like how,
Yeah.
and you said you were almost 400 pounds, and you finally decided that you needed to take control of your portions and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and you trimmed down to 300, got into
Got down to
powerlifting,
300.
and then you injured yourself, and then
Yeah.
okay, and your now ex-wife didn't like that you were losing weight.
No, it did not at all. I mean, whatever the reason, real reason being, it's neither here nor there. But yeah, once the marriage crapped out, I quit eating for a while and then decided to just eat what I liked that was healthy, because I didn't want to eat the garbage I used to eat anymore. The stuff we ate when we were kids. I'm like, how did we survive? How did we eat Chef Boyardee ravioli and not die when we were kids? Because I ate that stuff and almost had to go to the ER for my guts. But anyway, I just started saying, I don't care what the rules are. If it's healthy, fruits and vegetables in the morning, hummus and veggies. I'm eating, roast chicken. I'll have this, I'll make a smoothie with all my supplements in it, stuff that people were like, where's your carbs or I'm like, I don't want that stuff. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
And, I started doing that. And that's whenever I finally got over that plateau to where I was like 255 and then down to, the 200 range, to where I finally had a normal BMI. The best compliment I ever got from anybody, and nothing will ever top this, is my doctor. And he told me, he said, kid, because he saw my journey too, and he went, you're right now where you're sitting, you got the health of a 21-year-old man. I was 38. I'm 37 years old. I'm just like, okay, nothing's topping that. Your doctor telling you, hey, you did it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment, man. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast. So it sounds like you essentially, because I was going to ask what your diet and workout routine looks like. So you said a lot of body weight exercises, and then your diet was essentially portion control, and then just cutting out junk food, essentially, right?
Basically.
Yeah. Did you count calories at all, or
not really? I just ate until I was suffice. When you look at food like a fuel source and less like a form of pleasure, you don't go for the junk that that soul food you crave, that savory, as much. And so I still enjoy. I mean, I enjoy every single thing I eat, but it's fruits, vegetables, chicken. Basically whole foods and not so much carbs. And I mean, I still have soda here and there, but I mean, I drink mostly water, coffee, tea, stuff like that. And just focus on giving myself energy. When I was on the road, I wanted to have the best energy possible.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I lost a lot of weight just counting calories and stuff like that. I'm like a total food addict, I like self-admitted food addict. And what's really helped me a lot over the last couple of years is my switch to keto.
Yeah.
And like now I'm still on keto, but now I'm also counting calories with keto. And with keto, I don't know if you've dabbled in that at all, but what I love about it is that like you just can't cheat. Like if your goal is to get into ketosis, then you can't like have any of those. Like my kids have their snacks, like their
Mm-hmm.
fruit snacks and junk food and stuff like that. I can't eat it because if I eat it, it'll kick me out of ketosis, So it's like that alone, keeps me from doing that. And then, I'll have like a cheat meal or whatever, like this last weekend, for instance, right? My son and we went on a road trip to celebrate his birthday. So I told him, like, we call it going full retard, and I'm like, we're going to go full retard this weekend. And, so we ate a whole bunch of junk food this last weekend and I'm paying for it this week, but, but it gives me something to look forward to, and as opposed to like living my life by that. And then just, feeling constant regret for eating like shit on a daily basis, so it's a total different, it's a total mind shift once you finally decide to take back control of your health and stuff like that. So
it really is. And when you're not eating the garbage, that the stuff they put in that food as well, you find out just how much your system didn't like it either. I found myself eating old junk foods that, like I said, when I eat them, my system is like, why are you doing this to us?
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah. And I basically cut out sugar, man, years ago. Like, so even when I'm going full retard, like I try to stay away from sugar and stuff like that, so I won't drink my calories typically, if I could avoid it. And like, I just like, if I drink anything that's sugary, I'm just like,
yeah.
So gross.
My guilty pleasure is cookies. I'm a fiend for like your chocolate chip, your oatmeal chocolate chip, or so. Any of those, that's my guilty pleasure. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble with these. And weird enough, like whenever Krispy Kremes were really, really big, even when I was fat, I could never get into Krispy Kremes. They're too damn sweet.
I don't understand the appeal of Krispy Kreme. It's to me, it's like In-N-Out. In-N-Out is like, it's okay, but it's just a burger. It's like, it's overhyped. Krispy Kreme, when they came out, like it was so overhyped. I was like, it's just a fucking donut, dude. I swear to God, Winchell's is better. Like, come on.
We have Daylight Donuts in Tulsa, and they are head and shoulders better. Oh my God, they are the best glazed donut ever. But with In-N-Out was funny. I went to Texas a couple of years ago to go see a Evanescence concert, and Hailstorm. That was the other band. And so coming back, I finally tried In-N-Out Burger because everybody was like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good." I go there every time. I went there, and honestly, I was disappointed. I was just, it was okay. It was bland to me. Like, I like some seasoning on my hamburger, and the hamburger had almost no seasoning to me. I was just like,
do you like Whataburger better?
Yes, okay. That's more of my style.
I finally got to have Whataburger. Nurse Chick and I went to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Last October, I think it was. She had a fitness competition out there, and it was one of those trips where I was like, I'm going full retard. While she's like eating fish flakes and stuff to be at like, whatever 3% body fat she had to get at, I was like, I'm going to Whataburger.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? I am here to support you, but stand by 1 second, chomp.
Oh yeah. After her competition, like we went out, we had, there's a pro wrestler that I follow, and I've had him on the podcast or whatever, and he lives in Phoenix. I reached out to him and I was like, hey man, where to go in Phoenix? And he's like, oh, go to this pasta place. He sent me to like all these different things to do in Phoenix. I was like, hey, thanks, Navajo Warrior.
That's awesome. I've been to Phoenix one time, and my favorite spot there was they had this rock with a massive hole in it up, and you could stare and see the best sunsets from there in Phoenix. It was I was a teenager. I went to Johnson O'Malley conference with the Native American people, and we were in Phoenix for about 3 or 4 days. I had the best time. It's like, I guess, and we saw the Grand Canyon. Saw my teacher about to have a damn near heart attack when we saw a snake on the sidewalk, and she's like, "Don't touch it." Snake's like, "What? I haven't moved. Leave me alone." And he's like, "Just walk around me. I don't care." You could tell the snake didn't care we were there.
What kind of snake was it? Was it just a garter snake or what?
Just a garter snake. I mean, the yellow black stripe one, and he just kind of chill. He wasn't even biting or curling up. He just kind of was like, excuse me,
Yeah.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, there's garter snakes like where out here where I'm at. Like I see them all the time. Like they're cool. You know, like they don't do anything. They don't hurt anybody.
Exactly.
There's rattlesnakes out here. Yeah, you always, give them a little bit of wide berth, but
We get water moccasins out here at the rivers and stuff like that, but they're hilarious. If you tap them in the right spot, they'll bite themselves, and it's funny.
Really?
Yeah. Do you
That
see?
is
I've
funny.
seen them in the river. You get a stick. You have a stick or something. I've seen them before where I've seen a guy float by. You see him swimming and everything. They'll have some twig or something. Tap. And you watch over, and he turns around, and you're just like, doesn't that hurt? I'm like, every time.
That's funny, man. So going back to your weight loss, what advice do you have for someone who's just starting out on their weight loss journey?
Keep it simple. Oh my God, there's so much information out there. You can get buried in the rabbit hole of books and YouTube videos and the jargon that you can hear from that we understand if you're in fitness and you're nutrition long enough. But when you first start out, you don't know what a macronutrient is or anything like that. And so many people go to that level because they want to get to the ones that are in fitness competition. It's like, whoa, they've been doing that for 15, 20 years. That's a different ball game than just starting out at the gym.
Like if you just want to not be fat, you don't have to go full retard that way.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't change what I ate. I just changed my portions. And I would just say analyze everything you eat and just see, and then see where you can cut back. Because for me, that's when I discovered I'm like, I'm eating thirds every meal. No wonder I'm almost 400 pounds. You know, so when it comes to fitness, I would honestly say do everything body weight for the first 90 days because your stabilizer muscles all strengthen. And those are the ones that get you hurt because that's where you get your proper form. So then you go in the gym, you're going to be the safest because you're not getting hurt. All your muscles are conditioned for it. You're also going to probably be in the best shape. I went to the gym with my friend Kelly a couple of times the past couple of weeks, and I was sleeveless. And I mean, one of the things I love is that my arms are so chiseled now all the way down to where I've had people compliment on it. And I heard a good old fashioned rule, which was a man's arms is the equivalent of a woman's legs. So take care of them. And I was like, bet, okay, I can do that. And so I've always made sure to have my arms, well taken care of. That look in the sense of win the dating game of, well, if I know what a good pair of legs does to me, so let me get these arms jacked up and everything. And that's what I've basically gone for. And like I said, that's been the coolest thing is being in the gym and doing my routine, 10-pound dumbbells, nothing crazy. And I still will see all the definition, just sit there and be like, finally, it's me. Finally, it's like I'm seeing these guys looking up at me, watching me do my reps and everything. And they're like, you can tell they're like, how is he only doing 10 pounds? They're doing 60, struggling, and they're like this, and their form's all jacked up. And I'm like, guys, chill. Just get 10 and just focus on your form for a while. And you will get that look.
Yeah, one thing I do if I go to the gym, I've gotten back to calisthenics. I do that like periodically where I'll go to the gym for a while and then I'll get bored with that. And then like I'll do body weight exercises or whatever. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing running and body weight exercises. But when I go to the gym, one of the things that I like to do is drop sets, so I'll start off with heavy weights and I'll do as many reps as I can until, like I'm tired, and then I'll drop down. And then, by the time you're on like 5-pound weights, you're like, fuck,
There was
and you do one set till failure, doing that,
I had seen a guy do that. Oh God, I can't think of his name right now, but he's big on YouTube and everything. His quote is, "It's still your mother effing said." I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Addicts.
Fletcher.
CT Fletcher.
CT Fletcher, yes.
Yes.
Still your motherfucking set.
Yes, it is. We did a routine where he did back rows, where we had the rows where you're bent over and everything with the dumbbell. And I can't remember what it was. We started with the highest one, which was like 150. Did 10 per arm, rested 10 seconds, and then dropped down the next one and did it over and over. Now he quit at 75 pounds, and he said at 75 pounds, you just basically swapped until you can't anymore. And he called it death row. And I tried death row, and it felt like my damn spine was going to fall off. But it was amazing. I had to go down to 35 pounds. I couldn't. I had to quit at 75 or keep going. Obviously CT Fletcher versus me, that's a whole different level. But he was at 150 down to 75. I was doing 115 down to 35.
Yeah. Still though, like that's
it was
that's a
like,
crazy workout. If you drop sets till failure, it's a totally different workout, because when I was growing up, before I joined the military in high school, we had weight training class, and they were really big on 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
that's
and it's
what
just,
I did that for a long time. And then I learned about 5x5s, so 5 sets of 5 reps, right? 5 sets, 5 reps at that's good because you can do like heavier weight, you know. So I like doing that. Drop sets are good, and then body weight stuff. So I like to just mix it all up just so I don't get bored, Let's see here. Now you've credited my podcast for some of this stuff, but let's get real. You're the one that's like put in all the work, right? But that being said, what did my content do to help you on your journey?
well, when I first got out of my marriage and situationship that I was in, the toxic relationship and everything that basically brought me onto TikTok and everything to doing what I do now, um, I realized I sucked at dating. I knew I had a look, I had a build, I knew I had the components. I didn't have a blasting cap. That the game, basically understanding the game, taking your emotions out of it, not being a man in his feelers. I would be self-admitting and tell myself I was the nice guy, the simp, all those things, because the media told us in movies and in R&B songs to be that way. And so you
R&B
were,
songs.
oh yeah, I can't listen to Boys to Men anymore. I will cringe like a motherfucker when I hear Boys to Men. The guy with the deep voice, I love his voice, but if you listen to the lyrics to the song, he's condoning her treating him like horse shit. I mean, I'm talking, you can cheat on me, lay hands on me, yeah, it's okay, baby. I'm able to die in it. I'm like, that's called a trauma bond, and I'm in therapy still for years after mine.
Dude, Journey, Separate Ways, to me is like the most blue-pilled fucking song of all time.
And it's just, when you hear them, you're just like, you almost feel like the song's ruined for you because you heard it all your life. And so I started listening to this. And I mean, at first I was kind of like, the big one for me that really stood out, because I remember I was that cat that never picked a place to eat. I had never good. I was a people pleaser, and I wanted to make my wife happy. And I didn't know anything about being a masculine leader. I really didn't have a damn clue. Got married at 21 years old, and just winged it. And so, I never read a single book on that. I mean, my father taught me so many fantastic things, but he was married. He'd been married for my mom for 40 years. I mean, he's not teaching me the game. He's teaching me business. He's teaching me how to be a man in the sense of but the dating aspect, I was on my own. But anyway, the big thing for me was learning how to simply pick a place to eat, because you said, that's the best way to show your masculine frame every day, was just, how to do that. I had no clue how to pick and stand my ground. If, she didn't like where I wanted to eat, well, where do you want to eat? Well, I don't know. And then that started that cycle. And
have you, so I mean, obviously, like most men have been in that argument of, well, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go? But since you started picking the place, because I always say, like, if she says, well, I don't like that, then you say, well, do you have a better suggestion? You're welcome to join me. I've never gotten to that point ever since I started just picking a place and telling women like, hey, just meet me here, or hey, we're going to go do this. All I get is yes. Sounds good.
I have
It's
gotten
amazing.
there twice, and both times they went with me. Both times I'm sitting there driving going, son of a bitch, it worked.
Dude, it's fucking life-changing. It's I learned it from Atomic Attraction, honestly.
I love that book. And that was the other thing you taught me, was the Audible books. I had no clue about Audible. I thought about Star Wars books with Audible, and that's all I ever thought about was just, fantasy books. And you taught me, though, you had your list of books. And I had March of last year, I think it was, when I finally got chiseled and lost all my serious weight. I started reading those ebooks. Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Atomic Attraction, Embrace the Suck, Extreme Ownership. That was the hardest damn book to read, because it made me analyze all my bullshit. Yeah. And even like, for example, tonight, a perfect example of that, I couldn't find my headphones. And my kids were over this weekend. And so shit turns up missing with my kids. They just like to play. They're boys. But at the same time, I'm frustrated. And at the same time, in my head, I went, well, wait a minute, Gene. You should have looked for this morning. this is still, you have to take ownership and say, Gene, if I'd have looked for this morning when you were thinking about it, when you woke up, you wouldn't even be looking for it right now. And then I looked and went, oh, there they are. And found it the second I did. But at the same time, it's still that chance of me saying, there's some people who would have got mad at their kids and been like, why are you messing with my stuff? I was like, I could have very easily, but my kids had been here for 2 days.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea, that ownership you take to where you're not getting bent out of shape over petty shit.
Dude, yeah. Dude, bringing up extreme ownership. It's been a while since I read that book and even thought about it. So that's actually awesome that because that book is a life-changing book. I've read it once, but I've applied it so much in my life that like so many of us want to point the finger at other people and we want to blame other people for stuff. But if you really think about it, like a lot of stuff, it's like, it's your fucking fault. And ever since I read that book, I really tried to apply it to like everything, my day job, everything. Like if I didn't plan well for something, I'm like, fuck, this because I didn't plan for this. Like I didn't, it's on me, and you'll realize that everything in your life is like, it comes down to like your decisions and your planning or your lack of planning. And there's really no one else to blame, and it's actually kind of freeing. It's really freeing to realize like, hey, I am actually in control of my own fucking destiny here.
That has been the most freeing thing. While I just got done doing Uber full time, I'm getting a regular job to kind of complement my life a little bit easier, like have my kids around. I couldn't do overnights because I was Ubering all the time, for example. So my kids are doing overnights again with me again. But with what that all taught me was interesting with that, which was just basically learning how to rely on yourself. Again, with Uber and doing my own business, if my bills didn't get paid, it's because I didn't do the work, and so that was probably the best blessing in the world, was just, that whole aspect. Again, reading those ebooks, it was like having a best friend in the car with me while I'm doing my stuff.
Yeah. You know who I have to credit for the audiobooks? I think I've probably talked about it on the podcast, but Red Pill chick, the chick that, like I talk about her a lot, where, I dated her for 4.5 years and found myself on the dating circuit the second time. She's the chick that sort of, I realized like, I needed to get my shit together. And one of the things that she taught me was she was really big into like self-help books and like listening on audio. And up until I met her, I'd never listened to a self-help book or anything like that. And I'd only ever read novels and stuff like that. Like to me, like reading self-help just seemed sort of pointless or boring or whatever. But she was always listening to audiobooks and stuff. And I think the first one that she recommended to me was Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. And after I listened to that book, like everything just clicked. It was like, holy shit! Like I've spent my whole life not managing money well, and all this stuff. And then, man, and it was like after that breakup that I realized, like, hey, there's probably some books out here that'll teach me how to get my shit together when it comes to women and relationships. And it just snowballed from there. So like that was a credit to her, because a lot of times guys get so mad in the during breakups and stuff like that. And it's actually really good to sort of look at the positives in past relationships and stuff like that, because it's never good to like really shit on past relationships. Doesn't help you at all.
After a certain amount of time, it becomes counterproductive, because people will be like, get the fuck over it. And same thing. I had to learn that as well, is, to look at the positive of what experience is, because hell, the reason I'm on TikTok is because of an ex that originally was one of my very best friends. And I remember the thing I'll never forget that person told me was, at one time I was very reserved, almost a hermit. My dad, being in the situations I've been in, I was very much, shell in case, and didn't let myself see, the real me shine and everything. And that person saw the real me. And I remember making a joke saying, you're the only one that gets to see the real me in the universe. And they said, that's a shame, because if they got to see the real you, they love you. I'll never forget that, because they were exactly right. Because when I was doing my videos, all I ever say is just be the real me. If I'm reacting to a video, if I'm like not trying, because it's weird. If I try to impress, I'm weird as hell. If I don't try to impress, smooth as damn bourbon.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. It's all
Yeah.
subconscious at that point. Speaking of exes, though, and let's shit on some. You did a dating reveal with some chick on TikTok once, and that relationship didn't last long at all. What the hell happened with that?
Oh shit, life happened on that one. That was so fucking anticlimactic. We're good friends still because I mean, you know, what meant to happen is meant to happen. So her and I met. We were friends for a year. Both rose in the following things, got our niches and everything. Basically, I pulled her off of a off a dating video of thirst traps and everything, and it was a video that said, "Would you date me?" And I remember seeing the comments, and I mean, I just had a night. I said, you know what the hell? I liked her. She, I was attracted to her. We always had a good chemistry and everything. But she lived in Northern California, and I'm in Oklahoma. And I remember so many times being like, "Damn it, why this girl got to live in California?" Because that's the one I was clicking with. Made a video. Would you date me? I said, "The hell with it." I figure I'm gonna get all thanks, buddy, heart, face, whatever. That's you used to get stuff like that when you simp. And I just put a comment that said, "If it wasn't for distance, in a heartbeat," and left it at that. I'll be damned. I found out I was her TikTok crush. And so I'm pulling her in the comment section of this video. All these simps are, "Oh my God, in a heartbeat, I'm in love with you, blah, blah, blah." And I'm actually pulling her. I get her number. A month passes. She texts me. She's like, "Hey, I'm moving to Florida. And would you want to meet?" Because Oklahoma's halfway. I was like, "You're damn right I do. Absolutely." And so that's whenever we came up with the idea, because we both had said, we were excited about meeting our TikTok crush, but neither one said anything. And immediately I'm like, let's make a fun of it. Let's make a cliffhanger. Because we basically disappeared for 4 days. You can do the math of what happened there. But so we're doing the videos and everything, because I did a story time where I'm like, we got TikTok crushes, and some of us get to meet them, or some of us get to, DM or talk to them. I'm getting to meet mine. I'm on my way to Oklahoma City right now to do so. Left it to be continued, and made one video per day. Great chemistry. We decided to try dating long distance, which, because of my relationship trauma in the past, I was like, you know what, that could work. That actually could work, because I tried dating locally and I just wasn't ready. I don't have the mental capacity to give somebody my everything, because, then I don't want to go in that rabbit hole. But anyway, so she goes to Florida. Florida don't work out. And so she's moving back within like 3 weeks, which I'm like, holy shit. But she's like, "There's nothing for me in NorCal. What if I move to Oklahoma?" I was like, "Great, cool. I'm down for that." Again, we've been clicking perfectly.
So nothing worked. Nothing was for her in Florida or California. So she moved to Oklahoma.
Basically how it works. So she grew up in NorCal. Okay. And she moved to basically Florida and to help out a friend that was getting out of an abusive relationship, and that whole thing fell apart. Long story short, so she moved across country for a friend. It didn't work out with those two to help her get away from an abusive husband, basically, allegedly. And so she's like, "I'm moving back to NorCal, or I can move to Oklahoma." And I'm like, "That's cool," because she's talking about get her own place, and then her license to nursing license wouldn't transfer from California for 3 months. I was just a Uber Eats driver. I wouldn't even do an Uber yet at the time. I wasn't making the kind of money to support her and I. She had no way to get a job. She had no car. Her car was in the shop for DoorDash. We had like nothing. So the stress of life hit us like immediately when she came back to Oklahoma the second time. So within about a week and a half, we both were like, "This isn't working. This isn't going to work. Life's just not going to let us be together." She had to go back to NorCal, so she had to work. If you can't nurse for 3 months, you got no income. It's all on my shoulders then. And so, yeah, we finally agreed to go back to being friends. Helped her get back to Oakland. I helped her get back to NorCal and everything. And then we just went back to being friends from there. Like I said, it wasn't anything bad happened. It was just, the only part where I was just like, "Really, are you fucking kidding me?" was how she got her next boyfriend. It was literally carbon copy the same way. Video, all of a sudden, misty reveal. And I was like, "God damn it, are you serious? That was special for a second." But I got over it really quick. I mean, but it was
she did the whole like hoodie reveal thing.
Their own version of it, and I was just like, you motherfucker. I'm like, that's all right. I mean, again, it was one night where I was like, I'm gonna go smoke some weed and have a drink, and I got over it. Because again, we're good friends, and she's still my best friend on TikTok. And for me, it's always been weird. Growing up, I always had a female best friend, and it was just one of those. I never dated them. I never tried to do anything with them. It was just that childhood, your bestie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still have that part of my brain to where I can be that friend, and I don't think anything of it, and it gets my ass in trouble because then I'm like, then all of a sudden I'm finding out they have more, feelings, and I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, I just basically when that whole thing happened, I was like, I could be just friends. We were friends from the beginning because I've had some that I have a golden rule when it comes to female friends. If I met them and was a friend from the beginning, that's fine, but I don't do friend zone. Like I dated somebody when the last round of dating apps to the point where I finally said I don't need this shit, and because you gave me advice once, behind on DMs once we were messaging where I said, you mentioned you don't do dating apps, so you're like, we're going to Facebook and just video chat messaging, those kind of things. And so
I do dating apps.
Wait, you mentioned something that the guy that did that, you mentioned that strategy.
Oh yeah. My friend Benny pioneered,
Yeah, and so I tried to
chicks on social media. Yeah.
And so, I'd mentioned trying something like that before, and that had just as much success because, I mean, again, if they don't accept it, I'll never know, and I don't care. I mean, I just basically it was a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, basically when I did the dating app, that was one where they ditched me for another guy, but then 2 weeks later wanted the friend request me, and I'm like, at first I was like, sure, whatever, I don't care. But then when I saw pictures of them posting with the dude, I was like, oh, you just want validation of me saying, oh, I just want you happy, friend. Oh, fuck that, delete. I don't do the friend zone. And I didn't give no warning. I didn't give no meshy speech message of, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, it's just delete, have a nice life. There's no harm, no foul.
Well, you mean you didn't call them out and hold them accountable?
Fuck that. I don't care.
So pointless.
When it clicked on, it dawned on me one day that men losing their shit with their feelings, they don't care. The female you're losing your shit over, they don't care. In fact, they get a thrill out of that shit.
Yeah, they're not going to change their behavior. It's totally pointless to call them out and but they'll respect you. No, they won't.
No,
it literally does nothing. Yeah.
What they will respect is if you leave them the fuck alone, focus on yourself, and do good with your life. One day they'll look at you and go, hey, good for you. And that's literally the respect you'll get from them one day. That's it. And so, yeah, I remember, like I said, I remember one that fucking destroyed me. And then I saw the mutual friend share me a text saying they did that shit with pleasure. And I was just like, never again. And so, I mean, like I said, I've been in therapy 3 years for all this stuff. But yeah, it's just one of those where they don't, when the female you're losing your shit over don't give a shit about you. So go to your mama, go to your boys, go to whoever you pray to, but do not go to that female with it. So yeah, I mean, I was upset, but I mean, I just went, okay, goodbye, and then just moved on with my life and let it be.
Yeah, the way I look at like being friends with chicks is like as long as like you have no feelings for them. Like if you have no romantic feelings at all, you have no attraction to them, like you could be friends with them, like they actually like there's a chick I run with pretty regularly. She's been on my TikTok videos and stuff like where we're running all the time. Some people like they're like, oh, I've seen Nurse Chick. Like that's not Nurse Chick. That's Tyrene.
Yeah,
Tyrene's my running buddy, and like like I'm not sexually attracted to Tyrene, so like we're good friends and we have that mutual interest of running, so we go running together and stuff like that. It's like perfect instance. But and then also like it's good to have female friends as wingmen. Like they actually make pretty decent wingmen.
Yeah. See, that would be I've done duets with this person, but my friend Kelly, that's actually one of my very good friends I've known over 14 years. People have asked us, why don't we date? I'm like, that is basically that's the person that was like the big sister who's a grade above you, Irish twin, whatever. Yeah. That kind of dynamic we have where it's just like neither one of us see the other that way, and the easy way to tell if you have feelings for somebody, how do you react when they're dating? Do you get jealous? If yes, don't be their friend then, because you're gonna fuck it up. You got other alternatives subconsciously. If you have feelings there of some kind of jealousy of some kind, either deal with them or let them go, because all you're gonna do is hurt them.
Yeah, 100%. Going back to some of these books, you've read How to Be a 3% Man, right?
That's one next on my list. I just finished I think it's Dating Essentials is the one I just finished.
That's from Dr. Robert Glover.
Yes, Dr. Glover. I just finished that one, Dating Essentials.
Okay, what did you think of that one?
Kind of a rehash of everything else I've been reading so far. It's similar to Atomic Attraction, where it was just kind of showing me I think the big one that I learned was on again, just keeping emotionally in check is a big thing I've learned. For me, is just not letting my emotions. Anything I read on, say, with Dating Essentials, for me has always been just trying to maintain, because I can attract a date. I cannot keep a girlfriend if my life depended on it, and it is what it is. And so I'm learning right now, trying to learn now how to go to that next step of just, opening up, being a boyfriend, essentially, because I don't want to be. I mean, it's been kind of funny. I joke about being the crazy uncle or the Uncle Buck in my family, but I don't want to do that shit when I'm in my 40s, obviously. So, but getting my life, getting my shit together, getting my, my dating essentials in check and everything. So that way, when the time comes, I can be in that relationship long term, and I can just, because again, I got tired really quickly of I don't mind splitting plates, as you call it, but I mean, after a while, you get kind of bored with it, annoyed with it. You're like, okay, it's almost like a job interview. We're like, okay, and what are your qualifications? Yay, okay.
Yeah. I find that I would say, even guys in the red pill space, right? Like they like the idea of spinning plates and having lots of options, but every guy fucking gets tired of it. They get so tired of, like, you go on like 100 first dates to get maybe 15 second dates,
Yeah.
like that's like the ratio, your most of your first dates just aren't going to fucking pan out. They just aren't. And it's like, it almost seems like a monumental waste of time doing that. And so most guys do want to get into something, a little more stable. I think most guys do. And yeah, it's just, and then once you get into something stable, then you find that being in a long-term relationship is like game on fucking hard mode, because you've got to most guys don't do this. And this is why most guys, like, their relationships fucking don't pan out. And the women, they file for 80% of the divorces and shit. It's like, yeah, because most guys get into that relationship and then just stop doing everything they did to get her in the first place. Yeah. And they're just like, why? I don't have to try anymore. Like, I already got you. And then, like, that only lasts for so long,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's like, once you realize, like, that the work never stops, it's like, you either go, well, fuck, I don't have to do this my whole life, and then go MGTOW and then, jerk off and play video games, or you say, all right, well, fuck, if this is what it's going to take, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to knuckle down and do it,
I've got my own little chemistry test that I like to do for myself, and just kind of my own personal style, because some people will have a chemistry test where they go to coffee or something like that. If I like a girl and I want to take that next step, I take them over to like a Dave & Buster's or like a Main Event Entertainment, where they have the shoot 'em up games, and I shoot zombies with them and see how they interact. Because if they can hold their own with me, that's going to be my best friend that I'm going to fall in love with one day. Again, hard to find, because most people, most girls aren't into stuff like that. But again, one of the things I had to realize is it's okay to have preferences. And it's not one of those, if it's not one of those pass fail. It's not like, you didn't shoot enough zombies, get your ass out of here, nothing like that. But just for me to see, like, is this somebody I'm going to be like doing stuff like this with? Or because there's chemistry on different levels with somebody. I've had chemistry with people that they ain't going to play that game for anything, but I mean, they're still an amazing person. But it kind of lets me know, it lets me know mentally what I can and can't do with them. Basically, that's my favorite thing to do, is video games and talk shit. And so the idea of eventually, because I do live streaming with video games, eventually I'd love to have my own, like, to where I could have several people on there gaming with me and back and forth. And because I've got several buddies that we would be money on that. So, but that's my big test with dating. It's just the chemistry. See, are they going to be like that? Not only the best friend vibe, but just lover who does best friend shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, a lot of guys, women do. I think women are probably even more guilty of this, is something that they do go looking for their best friend when it comes to like dating and relationships. And I used to sort of have that mentality as well, until I realized that it actually works out better if you're not looking for a best friend, because like a lover is something better. It's actually someone better than a best friend. And so, and if you go looking for your best friend, you tend to either put people in the friend zone or get put in the friend zone.
Yeah, I have a friend zone now, and it's weird. I was the awkward fat kid growing up, so yeah, that's been weird having to tell people, look, I don't want to date you. It's like, and but it does give you that dynamic to where you understand the importance of boundaries. So that is one good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, because if you have a friend zone, you have boundaries, obviously, and so it's like that's been one plus. That's one good thing, is you learn that aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of putting chicks in friend zones, I saw that you're starting a Lumberjack thirst trap channel now.
Yep.
And your goal is to have a Lumberjack beach body by this summer. How's that going?
I am fucking loving that. It's one of those things where somebody told me once, find something you love to do and you'll stay in shape for it forever. And I got the biggest thrill out of splitting logs. I have a blue collar heart. My favorite job of all time was being a mover, because I got to handle heavy furniture, take a beating all day. They didn't pay shit, unfortunately. But I have my own little getup in my backyard. I had gotten a sandstone fire pit about a year ago, and the thing is massive and easily as big as a 60-inch round table, if not bigger. And so I found, when I got my pickup truck, I started going on Facebook Marketplace and finding all these places where you can get like free lumber, rounds, everything like that. Just go pick them up. And so I had, of course, a Chevy Malibu at the time. That was a pain in the ass getting the wood there, but that was what I found myself getting so exhausted. I used to watch Duck Dynasty, and it was Jace who said I was in the best shape of my life splitting logs every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I used to do that when I was younger. And yeah, I had a very strong core. So I started doing that every day. And again, I started everything. So I wanted to, I started getting that framed where my shoulders start popping out. My arms started getting more chiseled. It's an 8-pound sledgehammer axe that I'm using. And I'm starting to get where I can handle it with one hand, moving around with stuff like that. And so, because like I said, Jason, like I said, my man crush, Momoa, he said that he doesn't like going to the gym. He likes to surf. He likes to rock climb. He'll go to the gym if you pay him. But he's not a gym rat. He likes to go do activities that are fun. I was like, that makes sense. I was getting bored with the gym, the 3 sets of 10, the 5x5s, the pyramid rack I did where you did like 8, 5, 3, 1, 1 run, 5. You did it for squats, bench, and deadlift. That stuff got really, really old. And so I loved kayaking or floating the river. And I got such a good burn being out there 8, 10 hours a day. So I was like, I want to kayak the river when it gets warm enough. And I said, but I'm the type, I'm comfortable in just a pair of shorts out there. And while I don't need to look, completely chiseled, I want to at least have the best effort of the best me while I'm out there. And so I'm like, I'm going to split logs, get chiseled while I do it, to do something I love to do. And started filming myself talking shit to the log when I'm splitting it and everything. And my buddy was, not ironically enough, it was from the dating fail I had where I split logs one day, just letting out the rage. And next thing I hear is the people that comment, and they're like, do it with a tank top. I'm like, okay, I'll do it with a tank top. Well, and it's all of a sudden I'm getting DMs where like, give me ideas. We're like, you have a Viking gear or anything like that? I'm like, no, but I can get some. And then I had a friend of mine telling me, you could do a Fansly account. I'm like, no, hold on. Like, where can this go? They tell me, that there's guys that, it's just kind of another way to market.
I think there's a video, like, there's a lumberjack guy on TikTok that like his videos pop up occasionally, and he's just like, he's in fucking great shape, dude,
Yeah.
And he just like, he'll go and split like a log with one swing or whatever, and then the chicks are just fucking like laying eggs in the comments, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or they're just like they're duetting him, going, oh shit, like just fucking total thirst trap. And then when I saw your video, I was like, my man's thirst trapping these chicks.
Old Indian trick.
Splitting logs to split them legs. You know what I mean?
Right? Oh my God. It's funny because it's a unique idea is just I get to do all this fun shit that these fun experiences that when I'm an old man, it doesn't matter how many times I did them. I could say I did them. Perfect example. If someone said to me, "Hey, do you want to go bungee jumping?" Nah, probably not. You want to go bungee jumping in Africa? You better fucking believe it. I'm going to be on that first flight. Well, what if it was over open water? I'm still going to be there. What if there's crocodiles? The worse you make it, I'll still be there because I will still be able to be 75 years old and say I went bungee jumping in Africa over crocodile infested waters. It doesn't matter if I went on a plane, did it, and was back in the States, did it in 15 minutes and was back in the States. I still did it. And so, like another one that was my favorite, I was selling cannabis briefly. Did not go well. It's horribly unorganized in Oklahoma. And so, but the cool experience that I did take away from it was I can now say that I went to a job interview, lit a joint in the middle of that son of a bitch, got the job and split a joint with the owner of the company. Yeah, I can say that now. And so, and it's one of those.
Speaking of joints in Oklahoma, you watch Tulsa King?
I haven't got with my work and everything. I have not got to watch TV in like 2 years.
I typically don't get too much into television anymore these days. Like everything's too fucking woke for me. But I Nurse Chick and I started watching Tulsa King, dude. That show's fucking awesome.
I need to see it.
It's Sly Stallone. He's like a former mob capo, or he's a current mob capo, and he got out of prison, and the mob's like, we want you to go to Oklahoma. Basically, like, sort of, getting him out of the city, like they sort of banishing him. And they're like, but we want you to earn for us there. And he's like, okay, I'll fucking earn. And he goes to fucking Oklahoma, and he immediately shakes down a fucking pot store and stuff. It's fucking great show though. It's so funny.
Oh,
it's
man.
Such a funny show.
That one and the one I want to get into watching was Reservation Dogs, because I tried out for the show and didn't get a call back. It is what it is. But at the same time, that was show. I started watching clips of it, and I found myself just in stitches laughing because they did a really good job on that one, on the native humor.
Oh, I haven't heard it. What's it called? Reservation Dogs?
Reservation Dogs. It's basically showing you life on the res in the Indian communities, and the humor is hilarious. And for me, I mean, because it explains like they said they had a episode on snagging. They went to some convention, some conference, kind of like the one I went to as a kid in Phoenix. They do those a lot. Well, snagging? It's non-consensual sex with somebody.
Isn't that called grape? We're on YouTube. Isn't that called grape?
I think no. Well, did I say non-consensual? Non-committal. Wow.
Okay, non-committal. Okay, I was like non-consensual. That's bad, dude. Like
that's bad. Brain fart. My bad.
Okay.
Non-committal.
Non-committal. Okay.
Right.
Thanks for the
clarification. Go on TikTok later. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna go on TikTok. Gene just said, "No, the fuck I didn't. It's called a brain fart." So anyway,
I'm gonna tell my clips guy, "Hey, Mike, don't clip this. Don't."
Yeah.
Don't make that into a TikTok.
Yeah, the brain fart. Let's just leave that shit right up. No, anyway. So basically, it's hooking up without committing to a relationship.
Okay.
That's what it is, and so you'll see it a lot of times. I mean, and whatever other cultures call it, where you play the field, blah blah blah. Well, natives we call it snagging.
Okay.
And so anyway, they did an episode on that where you hear they call it the auntie slayer is one they call for guys, and natives are big on the aunties are on the prowl basically. They kind of cougars basically,
like
and
milfs.
So they show. Basically, yeah. And so there was an episode where you kind of hear what they're thinking in their heads when they're passing by this person. They're like, "Oh shit, Seminole, walk away, you get pregnant. You look too long," that kind of humor.
Yeah.
And it's just that kind of that humor. It's a combination of, I would just say, just crude, but it's just I can't explain it. Basically, hard to explain about our humor. It's crude. It's the best way to put it, but I love it. It's what I grew up on.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Well, we're a little over an hour here, man. Where can people find you online? This has been a fun conversation.
Oh God, everywhere. I keep my tag the same as possible. Black Bear 1984. I'll add a 0.2 on some of them because I don't know how, but I'll lose accounts on the original ones. Like my Instagram is Black Bear 1984.2. YouTube Clapper. Other ones I'm on now. Facebook, I have.
Are you on Clapper still?
I am still, yeah. There's 2 pages on there. The original BlackBerry 84, I call it, it's floating adrift in the internet because I lost the login information.
Mm.
And what was the other one? So it's point two on Clapper. But anyway, on Facebook it's Gene Anthony Bread, and then Black Bear Media Company that I'm using for. I've got my own podcast I'm building, game streaming, and then just the brand of the Black Bear thing. Because one of the crazy things I'm wanting to do is a buddy of mine, he flips cars for a living, and he's big into racing. And so my tattoo. Hold on, look at the camera. This one right here, my bear paw, is going to be basically a business logo. And so our goal is to get him back on the racetrack, and with all the social media stuff, flipping cars for a living, like I said, we'll basically get, dirt cheap car, flip it, make, X amount. But getting that aspect of putting that logo on like a race car, for example, over at the dirt tracks over here in Creek County, and just kind of slowly promoting that in so different ways. But yeah, that's something that I'm working on is Black Media Companies, like I said, is my idea is just basically getting it to where I can all my stuff that I'm doing that's monetized, putting it in one place for tax reasons, essentially. But
Yeah.
if I could turn it into an actual, advertising and things like that, eventually I totally will. Because I got experience in real estate to where I'm like, if I get the professional photography, I'll totally go in the real estate world and be like, I'll film your open houses, virtual tours, blah, blah, blah. I know the rates on that stuff. So it's like, it's just a matter of time before I'll tackle that. So
Yeah. Awesome. Do you have like a link tree or something?
Yep. I
Okay.
link tree on every single all my accounts will have the link tree on there. And
Yeah.
that's for me, that's just the way you can tell it's my account. Is the best way to tell it's legit is I'll have my link tree on there.
Perfect. I'll put the link tree since you're on you got a million fucking branches. I'll put that that in the description of this. It'd be way easier. Go back to Clapper. Dude, I was posting on Clapper sort of as like an alternative to TikTok, especially when I was getting like banned and stuff like that. But I fucking hate that platform, dude. It's like, to me, there's so many fucking bots on there that I'm like, I don't like. It's easy to build a following, but you're like, is any of this legit? Like, so I just stopped. I stopped posting on there because I was like, this is wasting my time. But
I am using it just long enough to get alive. I built my Clapper when I was going into the cannabis industry because you can do 420 on there, and I was going to basically use my marketing for selling cannabis sales and go over there and do that. But once I left that industry, as quickly as I got in there, it really didn't serve a purpose other than just building a platform and just seeing if I can utilize it to maybe monetize with it in some way someday.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, brother. Well, thanks for joining me today, man. I will I'll ping you when this comes out.
Sweet. It's good having me, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
You're
for having me
welcome
on the
back
show.
anytime. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Black Bear, Gene, thank you so much for joining me today, man. What a great conversation. I know it takes forever for these videos to come out, but there's a space-time continuum. Everyone knows that. You're welcome back anytime, brother. Welcome back anytime. That's all I got this week, guys, or this episode, rather. Be sure to tune in Wednesday for the live stream. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about yet, but you know what? It's funny because at the time of this recording, the recording of this outro, I just added some links to my link tree. So if you go to comeonmanpod.com, you could actually sponsor a live stream. Like if there's something you really want me to go in depth about, you could sponsor a live stream. So check that out. Comeonmanpod.com. It's like one of the top 2 or 3 links up there to sponsor that. Or you could sponsor just like a short TikTok video, whatever. All right, guys, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. If you haven't done so already, drop a comment. Any comment will do. Favorite emoji, doesn't matter. It all helps us out in the algorithm. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Get on the Patreon, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. You can join for as little as $10. And then if you want any kind of coaching, I handle my coaching program through Patreon. If you guys ever want like a one-off call too, we could work that out. Actually just message me on Instagram, or you can message me on Twitter as well. Just DM me. And, if you just want to, do a one-off call, we can work that out too. That's fine. Let's see here. get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. This way I can contact you if I ever get deplatformed. That's happened before, especially on TikTok. And then I will send you some stickers just for joining. And then if you like those stickers, those designs are available as merch at merch.comeonmanpod.com. So check that out. And then finally, check out the Practical Law of Attraction course. Most of you guys, all of your problems will be solved once you get your mind right. Once you realize that you have absolute control of your destiny, and it all starts with your mindset. So check that out, loa.comeonmanpod.com. Other than that, I will see you guys on Wednesday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.